too, how much longer we can expect this to go on. And the band did some research on that. We've been looking at that too. And just as an aside, you know, you probably wondered what's up with the band and all the wondering and research and stuff. And truth is, we're just tired of being thought of as another pretty boy garage band. You know, in our management tells us that gravitas is trending, and so we're trying to catch that wave too. So, anyway, people smarter than me, smarter than Van, smarter even than Doug, smarter than Doug, say that we can expect 5 billion more years of life-supporting energy from the sun. So, but there's a hard stop at the end of it. In 5 billion years, the sun goes through its red giant phase, expands by a factor of 1,000 its diameter, churns out about 1 million times more energy than it has for the prior 9 billion years. And so it's kind of a hard stop for Earth at that point. But back to the birth date, it means that the Earth is about middle age. We've been around for 4 billion years, we've got another 5 billion to go, and the band's been wondering about that, and we've asked ourselves, what will our species do? We have this capacity to accept the gift of 5 billion more years of free energy on a planet that has billions of years of history of flourishing with the use of that free power. We have that unique capacity to manage our relationship with the sun so that this planet remains or becomes a paradise. Doug, man, will we do that, or are we just another rough beast slouching towards Bethlehem?
We're going to try.
We're going to try.
Or so, we may be the rough beast, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
His volume is not high enough? Wow, well, you might not have been speaking, but it should be high enough.
So with that said, we'll go back to the things that were actually, let's go with the Pretty Boy Band thing. And
Pretty boy garage.
so we're going to play a song that's kind of about some of these ideas. It's called Kneel to the Sun. Ready, fellas?
Yo, yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
no jumps. In case you're wondering. Well, I'm just glad gravitas is trending because that'll fit my work a little more. But anyway, I like you guys, the garage band. So we usually read the land acknowledgement statement right here. And it's still in your bulletin if you'd like to read it or review it. But today, I've been asked to expand upon it, like I've done it twice before, to just bring that to life for us a little bit. I love to do that, and I use a book called Minnesota Makoche by Gwen Westerman and Bruce White. Gwen is a wonderful Dakota writer. And today I'll focus on the specific phrase that's inside of our statement about how the Dakota hunted, fished, harvested, and cared for the land. So about 2 miles west of us on the shore of Bede-Makaska was a Dakota village named Hayata Otunwe. If you drive along the parkway there, you'll see the little memorial to that village and the name Hayata Otunwe. You can memorize it like I do when I drive by. Its leader, the village's leader, was a man named Cloudman in English, and so that village was also called Cloudman's Village. For a couple of decades in the mid-1800s, Cloudman's Village was an early adapter of the idea of agriculture, which was not common among the Dakota because they seldom had fixed villages. The Wapakute traveled often throughout the region by horse or canoe, snowshoe, or on foot, but they moved a lot. Since all land and water resources had good years at different times, deer or bear hunting was good some years, wild rice was abundant some years and not. For flexibility then and to feed their families off the land, the Dakota practiced a round of traditional hunting, gathering, and fishing. The traditional round included sugar bush, maple sugar, maple syrup or whatever in the early spring, gathering berries and wild greens in early to mid-summer, fishing in spring and summer, wild rice in late summer, hunting deer, bison, or elk in the fall, ice fishing and trapping in the winter, and around it went again. Cloudman's Village was known to hunt deer in the Rum River area, north of us, and Nicollet Island was known as a great place for the spring sugar bush. Many variables came together to determine the relative success of this seasonal round. Some were environmental, some were cultural. Whether the men were called away to treaty talks at Fort Snelling was a big factor. Whether ammunition was available for the hunt was a factor and was relative to their available cash. They were sold guns early from the French. And plus the possibility of a settler market for something like furs or wild rice would sometimes change their priorities. The people of the villages communicated continuously about such options, and word got around quickly about good hunting or gathering opportunities. So Cloudman figured it would be worthwhile at least to try a farming lifestyle, and Indian agents and missionaries in the 1930s in this region were promoting agriculture as civilized, so there were plows available and assistance available for them. Hayata Otunwe had 80 acres of farmland marked off into 50 small fields. The Dakota planted corn in hills with squash and beans, and they ate corn when it was green before the raccoons got it. It was not common for them to store large quantities of corn. And for several reasons at that time, farming was simply not successful. For example, in 1835, it was reported that 10 bear were killed in the cornfields at Hayata Otunwe. Good news for the bear hunters, bad news for the corn. And that year, strong winds also blew down the wild rice. So they had a tough year in 1835. Meanwhile, the Anishinaabe habits with food were typically, and still are in my experience, typically to eat or share most of what was available, since they valued mobility over a structural storage option. Of course, they parched and stored wild rice, dried the cranberries and fish, and etc. on a smaller scale. After a while, they saw no sense in abandoning the security of their traditional round. Managing the Dakota food cycle required kinship collaboration, combined experience and knowledge passed down through the generations. In other words, constant sharing and teaching made it more secure than farming. Specializing made it less secure. Minnesota settlers used the rivers for transport and held corn or grain in silos or large bins before, these are my ancestors, before selling it to each other for cash. Thus, this saving and selling pattern was not in the Dakota value system. They sometimes shared an entire crop with neighboring families before the season was even over. So you can see how agriculture is more than just planting in rows. It's also kind of a hoarding and selling kind of mentality that we have adopted. Moving with the available resources also allowed the animals and the land to speak with their own patterns and needs. And the Dakota were listening. There was an ecological partnership and humility about what the land might offer in any given season. Ceremonies of thanks followed every hunt or harvest. In retrospect, the Dakota pattern of traditional rounds had lasted them and their prey for centuries. For decades in the 1800s, they reverted back to their traditional rounds, gave up on agriculture. However, after the treaties were broken in the 1850s, and with relocation and increased white settler population, the Minnesota Dakota people no longer had the landscape. They didn't have the space to practice this traditional round. And this was a major upheaval. For a time, they tried to supplement with government annuities, and you know how well that worked. As we know, the unpredictability of annuities led us all directly into the Dakota-US War of 1862. So when we read our statement and you hear that they hunted, fished, harvested, and cared for the land, I hope that we can understand that in more detail and can appreciate the local Dakota culture even more than we did before. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane, and thank you, Uncommon Denominators, right? So, hey, thanks, guys. Hey, this is, and speaking of the village, you know, this is one of the things that I think that the history that we've been taught, you know, is to think of this stuff as ancient, when it's totally contemporary. You know, I think I mentioned a few months ago, I'm sure you all remember, you know, the West Virginia textbooks say that there were no indigenous peoples in West Virginia, which is totally wrong. There was, my family, you know, there were Cherokee people in my family. There were still many Cherokee folk that I grew up with. So it's just the way that the erasure of history. But you know, in 1862, when Henry David Thoreau came to Minnesota, he was at that village, and that was his last time here, you know, on Earth. He had tuberculosis and back and died in Concord. But just this idea of just that the history is not ancient, but extremely contemporary for us. Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Welcome. This is the day after Easter, or the Sunday after Easter, which is also always called Low Sunday. Low, not necessarily because of attendance, but you know, it's always, you're never going to repeat leads the tenets of Easter. But also low just goes to energy, right? I mean, you're on a high, and then you come, everybody's exhausted. So Easter Monday should be a national holiday, but it's not here. It was at one time, but it'd be great if it was, right? So I mean, everyone's exhausted, and I've got a mask because what always happens at Easter, right? All the staff gets sick. You put all this energy in, and it didn't actually happen. So I'll be kind of that bae today. So we got that, but luckily the church gave its wonderful creativity, and the environmental justice team will be leading us in worship, and thanks to the music guys, and we'll go from there. I don't know what kind of week you had. I'll just say this as a welcome. There's what's called the 30 Days of Biking. I don't know how many of you know about that. It's, we got at least a few hands, right? There's education, it's always going. Started here in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. 30 Days of Biking every day in the month of April. This is about its 10th year. Wouldn't you say, Rob? Probably more, but yeah. We'll just say around 10. How about that, around 10? So yesterday, there's what they have on Saturday morning, pastry rides. So we meet at Perennial Cycle, and then you ride around town at what we call party pace or pastry pace. And you just sit around and you talk, and then you end up in a park and you have some pastries, and then you talk some more, have some coffee, and then you go home. It's a great thing, it's a great way to start Saturday. Well, yesterday, there was a guy riding next to me, and he was an elderly gentleman, and he had the earbuds in, and he did not bring his hearing aids. And so as we were riding together the entire time, he kept getting in my space because he couldn't hear me. And so I would say something, he would drift real close with his bike, and uncomfortably close, and then he would go back. And we were going over the Sabo Bridge, and we're going, and I'm on the side that's near the railing, and he asks a question, and I try to answer, and he gets right over all of my space, and I had nowhere else to go. And so I hit the bridge, and we were only going like 2 miles an hour, right? So don't worry about that. So I hit the bridge, and then my steering wheel kind of goes out, and I end up getting straightened out where we get back to where we're going. All to say is this: no one's going to get up in your space like that today here at Judson, right? So our welcome is, just make it nice and easy. We're here just to have a nice time. You're going to be challenged a little bit, sure, but overall, it's to give you some space, just to enjoy this time, to take some deep breaths, and just enjoy this experience that we have together. So, with that, we are a community that centers itself on 4 core values of social justice, hospitality, deep spirituality, and joy. Our welcome line, bring your hopes, bring your doubts, feed your soul. Whoever you are, wherever you are in life's journey, we hope that you find a welcome here, and we hope that you find your space here. We take a special, I would say a special focus, because since 1993, when the Association of Welcoming and Affirming Baptists was formed, we have tried to do our best to welcome our LGBTQIA+ siblings, and we hope that that continues on in a very robust way. We sent letters out to the 4 new churches that were welcomed into the AWAB Association a couple weeks ago, and I've already received wonderful replies, just heartfelt thanks for those wonderful letters that you wrote and all the signatures. And one of the guys at Madison, Wisconsin, just as a little connection, his mentor was Dale Edmondson, who was a previous pastor here for a while. So it was great to see this come full circle as we continue this ministry of hospitality. So those of you who are gathered in person or online, let's just take some deep breaths. It's a little Sunday, and let's enjoy the morning we have together. All right, Beth, can you send me call to worship?
Using your bulletin now, in the responsive call to worship, I'll be the one voice and you can be the many. Because we care for and love the earth, we can't help but cry out in lament and despair for the earth. Because we care for our families, our children, and children everywhere, we can't help but despair over the state of the earth and the future of the world we are passing on to. Unless that kind of grief and lament and anger is put to speech, it can never become energy. Laments are all an expression of grief, but they are also an expression of hope. As we join our hearts, minds, and spirits as one in worship, may it be so. So let us rise and sing our opening hymn. This is God's Wondrous World. See the insert in your bulletin. We are treated with the words from poet Joy Harjo. The poem is called Once the World Was Perfect. Once the world was perfect and we were happy in that world, then we took it for granted. Discontent began a small rumble in the earthly mind. Then doubt pushed through with its spiked head, and once doubt ruptured the web, all manner of demon thoughts jumped through. We destroyed the world we had been given for inspiration, for life. Each stone of jealousy, each stone of fear, greed, envy, and hatred put out the light. No one was without a stone in his or her hand. There we were, right back where we had started. We were bumping into each other in the dark. And now we had no place to live since we didn't know how to live with each other. Then one of the stumbling ones took pity on another and shared a blanket. A spark of kindness made a light. The light made an opening in the darkness. Everyone worked together to make a ladder. A Wind Clan person climbed out first into the next world. And then the other clans, the children of those clans, their children and their children, all the way through time to now, into this morning, light to you.
Okay, can I invite the children to come forward this time? Okay, I'm gonna stay back here, because if I get you all sick, I'm gonna hear about it all week from your parents, for this next 2 weeks. So, how y'all doing, first of all? Yeah, how was Easter? They're staying back there, okay, I got a cold, yeah. Everybody had a good week? Yeah? Things went okay? Have you finished all your Easter candy? That was gone last Sunday? Last Sunday?
The day I got it.
The day you got it, what do y'all still have left? Most of this stuff? A lot of jelly beans. Can they make it a solid chocolate bunny? It's hollow. They made, you guys gonna? Does anybody in the crowd remember getting a solid chocolate bunny and taking like for weeks to finish it? Like the only thing you could really finish first was that sugary eye. That was interesting. Okay, real quick, so this is just gonna be a couple minutes today. How many of you have turned in a pledge card? Yeah, pledge card. So, okay, let me ask you this. How many of you get an allowance? Okay, what's the going rate for allowance these days? $3 a week. Okay. $3 a school week. Ooh. What is it during the regular summer week? Nothing. Go to school weeks, okay. All right, so let me ask you this. So I'm going to ask everybody to pledge $1 for you all. So let me ask you a couple questions. How many? Do you think anybody here has consumed $1's worth of hot cocoa this year? Do you think you've consumed $1's worth of cookies, donuts, bars that have been in the bag?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so you don't think you could give back $1? Do you think you could do that? Yeah, I think so, right? Does that seem reasonable? Does that seem reasonable? Yeah? Reasonable, everybody? That's a good deal? Okay, good. So I've got pledge cards for you. Can you pass them out? I haven't got enough of them. So, Eileen, we're going to need a couple more to make sure everybody gets a can.
Yes.
Okay, good, thanks, okay, good. All right, so all you gotta do is put $1 on it, right? And then turn it in, and it's gonna help us in the negotiations that I'm gonna talk about later for some things we have. And also, it's a great thing for you guys to do too, right? So that everybody be involved in this. And so now we're gonna negotiate and not have it. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Okay, everybody feel good with the, how does it feel to have a pledge card in your hand? Do you feel like a grown-up now? Do you feel like you're participating more of an integral part of the society? Big words, but you guess so. Okay. Isn't it just exhausted you, the thought of it? Yeah. Okay, I get you. Okay, that's all I got. Okay, now accept the blessing from the faith community that loves you.
God be with you. And also with you.
You all have pledge cards. Come on now. There's excitement in it, all right? So now, receive a blessing from the faith community that loves you.
God
be with you.
And also with you.
There we go.
Well, Weatherhead finds his, I don't know if I'm on, I don't think I'm on. Well, Weatherhead finds his glasses.
Oh, I don't have it on, I'm sorry. Here we go, 1, 2, there we go.
I was having lunch with these two yahoos a few weeks back on a Monday, and I didn't have a job yet. And I was saying to them that I was trying to force getting the job thing, and they were aware of my frustration, but they allowed me to yak during lunch, and I said, I need to allow the universe to guide me, and I need to quit trying to force the universe to do what the universe is going to do anyway. Well, anyway, then I got a job the next day, and wrote this song in 7 minutes after I got there. 1, 2, 3, 4. The last few weeks have been a trip, losing track of time. Forgot that I am not in charge of all the things that matter. Little gone philosophy is needed to be recited. Intentions and purpose, environment. Oh, let's not forget the luck. Universe has spoken, and will again. Hope to keep my senses tuned, regardless of my sin. Never find my way again without a pointed light. The world keep on speaking, I may just get it right. Lesson that is remembered is as good as one that's learned. I'll spurn the day I forgot this way. It's destiny I yearn. New chapters starting here and now. New habits, not so much. So universe, here's to you, and here's to me. Toast to you and your love and touch. Yeah. Universe has spoken, and that will again. I hope to keep my senses tuned, regardless of my sin. Never find my way again without a pointed light. So world, I keep on seeking, may just get it right.
Okay, thanks guys. Good morning, and happy birthday. My name is Larry Jacobson. I'm a longtime member. Actually, it'll be 50 years this summer of Judson, plus a member of the Environmental Climate Justice Group that's assisting along with Beth and Linda later on. So more about that group later. I'll kind of continue some of the history lesson that Beth started out with Earth Day. So the first Earth Day was April 22nd, 1970. That's 55 years ago. But did you know that on that day, nearly 20 million people, which it was about 10% of the US population at the time, showed up on the streets and campuses all over the US to support environmental causes. I thought about this a little bit, and I said, considering all the crap or civil unrest that was going on at that time, for those of you old enough to remember that, you know, things like civil rights, race riots, and we had a very unpopular war in Vietnam. It's really hard to believe that someone could get that many people to demonstrate for environmental protection. So how did they do that? The history of this, the idea of Earth Day started with, of all things, two congressmen. Gaylord Nelson, who was a liberal Democrat from Wisconsin, and Representative Pete McCluskey, who was a conservative Republican in California. After a very severe or very massive oil spill off the coast of Santa Barbara in California in January '69, these two guys got together and proposed that we should hold, or they, environmental education events later that year should be held on a few college campuses. Senator Nelson recruited a young activist by the name of Dennis Hayes to organize these, quote, teach-ins and to scale up the idea to the broader public. So Hayes built in that year a national staff of 85, changed the name of the event to Earth Day, chose April 22nd, a weekday falling between classes and final exams on campuses. I think they used to call that study day. And kind of the rest is history. Now, there's a few more details to the story, but I think there are real lessons to be learned here. Prior to this event, groups had been fighting individually against oil spills, polluting factories, power plants, raw sewage flowing into rivers and lakes, toxic dumps, pesticides, freeways, loss of wilderness and extinction of wildlife. They all united on Earth Day around these shared common values. Earth Day 1970 achieved a rare political alignment, enlisting bipartisan support, rich and poor, urban dwellers, farmers, business, and labor leaders. So by the end of 1970, the first Earth Day led to the creation of the United States Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, the passage of other first-of-its-kind environmental laws, including National Environmental Education Act, OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Act, and the Clean Air Act. 2 years later, Congress passed the Clean Water Act. So this massive turnout for Earth Day in 1970 was not missed by the politicians of the day. It became a front burner political issue. In the decades that followed, there was, of course, an ebb and flow of environmental actions, sometimes pushed to the, what I call back burner status, but still a topic of discussion and bipartisanship. As typically happens, many environmental issues gained front burner status in the 80s and 90s in response to crisis, such as oil spills, toxic chemical releases, nuclear disasters. One environmental success story that I think is worth noting was the Montreal Protocol, which adapted in 1987 by some 70 plus countries and led to the reduction in the amount of ozone depleting chemicals in the atmosphere. This worked, and to this day is one of the most successful environmental treaties. So starting in the 1990s, Earth Day became kind of an international event, and the major environmental issue became, and still is, climate change, caused primarily by greenhouse gas emissions from the burning of fossil fuels. Climate change was a front burner issue during Obama and Biden administrations, with enactment of legislation to incentivize renewable energy development and infrastructure and reduce fossil fuel usage. However, it was pushed to the back burner during the first Trump administration, and during Trump 2, I think climate change is off the stove completely. So, what should be done? Maybe we should look around for another organizer like Dennis Hayes to get 20 plus million people out on the streets to the U.S. to protest the administration's climate change policies or lack thereof. I'm looking around, a lot of us baby boomers who did it 55 years ago might even be willing to do it again. But I'm afraid it would not get the same response. Now our Judson Climate, our Judson Environment and Climate Justice Group response to some of these frustrations has been to try to look for some positive aspects. This past winter, we found out about this book, What If We Get It Right? Visions of Climate Future by Anna Elizabeth Johnson. She is a marine biologist and policy expert, is very connected with the climate area. The book has some real excellent interviews and stories, I think about 37 of them in this book, that reveal a lot of positive approaches to finding solutions in our climate challenge, to our climate challenges. It really, I think, was really helped our group try to get away from all the negative things we hear about climate change and looked at some of the positives. So it's a kind of a glass full book, or a glass half full book. Another theme of the book, of course, was to be successful, most ideas and solutions need to come from local or community input rather than a top-down approach. So that brings us back to Judson. Judson has, over the years, consistently been a supporter of environmental projects for as long as I can remember. I know before that. And in activities both here for its building property and also the greater community that it serves. Judson has cooperated with a variety of environmentally focused nonprofits over the years that there is quite a few in the Twin Cities. Minnesota Interfaith Power and Light is one that we have enjoyed a good working relationship with over the years. We just got recertification of it. They have a program that's called the Climate Justice Congregation, and We've been one for, I think, 3 or 4 years now. Their work with faith communities in the Twin Cities in Minnesota has benefited Judson in numerous ways, including providing guidance and support in purchasing a 140 panel solar roof collector that's right above our heads for, I think most of you people know that. That was in 2021. And in fact, tomorrow, April 28th, will be the 4th anniversary of the operation of the solar panels. So our next group project that we're working with Minnesota Power and Light is to explore having Judson become a community climate resilience network partner. They are developing a network of facilities throughout the cities, primarily faith communities, to provide relief to individuals implemented by natural or man-made disasters. Examples would be to be a cooling center during an extreme heat event, or providing a place to charge cell phones during an extended power outage. So more to come about that later. We're just at the beginning stages of that. So finally, I would like to invite anyone interested in environment and climate justice to join our group. We meet monthly and typically online, and we never run out of things to talk about. So, thank you.
Jane and I are going to read a poem by the farmer, poet, prophet, Wendell Berry, who was very active in the first Earth Day. And Wendell Berry is still living, and I don't know how much he's farming in Kentucky, but he's still writing. So I will be voice one, I guess, right, Jane? Okay. This is called Manifesto of the Mad Farmer Liberation Front by Wendell Berry. Love the quick profit, the annual raise, vacation with pay, want more of everything ready-made. Be afraid to know your neighbors and to die. And you will have a window in your head. Not even your future will be a mystery anymore. Your mind will be punched in a card and shut away in a little drawer. When you want to buy something, they will call you. When they want you to die for profit, they will let you know.
So friends, every day do something that won't compute. Love the Lord, love the world, work for nothing. Take all that you have and be poor. Love someone who does not deserve it. Denounce the government and embrace the flag. Hope to live in that free republic for which it stands. Give your approval to all you cannot understand. Praise ignorance, for what man has not encountered, he has not destroyed.
Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in the millennium. Plant sequoias. Say that your main crop is the forest that you did not plant. That you will not live to harvest. Say that the leaves are harvested when they have rotted into the mold. Call that profit. Prophesy such returns.
Put your faith in the 2 inches of humans that will build under the trees every 1,000 years. Listen to carrion. Put your ear close and hear the faint chattering of songs that are to come. Expect the end of the world. Laugh. Laughter is immeasurable. Be joyful, though you have considered all the facts. So long as women do not go cheap for power, please women more than men. Ask yourself, will this satisfy a woman satisfied to bear a child? Will this disturb the sleep of a woman near to giving birth?
Go with your love to the fields, lie down in the shade. Rest your head in her lap. Swear allegiance to what is nighest your thoughts. As soon as the generals and the politicos can predict the motions of your mind, lose it. Leave it as a sign to mark the false trail, the way you didn't go. Be like the fox who makes more tracks than necessary, some in the wrong direction. Practice resurrection.
Okay, hopefully I don't go into a coughing fit in the middle of this song because I have to sing the whole song and I have a pretty tough cough happening. But this is a song that I've done here before. It's a song that it's written about from Black Elk's vision of the four directions and the colors of those directions. And it's called Mother Earth, Father Sky.
And on the other side of darkness Northern wind, winter's white, purify me till the springtime melts the ice. I hope that everybody earns some respect while there's time. Mother Earth, Father Sky, see the hurt in my eyes. You think we'd see just what we've done? What can't we see? We can't live without you. Oh no.
Thank you, Doug. All right, why don't we, in keeping with our Earth Day theme, why don't we take a moment now to consider the vast diversity of flora and fauna and creatures on this earth. I invite you now to take a moment to close your eyes if you feel comfortable and bring your attention to your breath for a few deep breaths. And now bring to your mind's eye the forests, the sights and smells and sounds of being in the forest. Breathe into a memory of being in the woods. And now, leave the woods and enter into the prairies. See in your mind's eye the diversity of the prairie. And from the prairie, imagine entering into the deserts. The sights and sounds and smells of the desert. Now imagine the mountains, being in the mountains. take in the view. Breathe into the grandeur of the mountains. And then take a moment to imagine the jungles, being in a jungle. Imagine what that would be like. And then finally, see in your mind's eye the oceans, the vastness, the diversity of life and color and smell and sound. See yourself now at the ocean. And then try and bypass your thinking mind, but just put out the question to the universe and see what comes. What does the earth, with all of its rich diversity, want you to know? What does it want you to know about yourself? About spirit. Where we all come from. And your place in the world. Now take a moment to feel the ground beneath your feet. Imagine yourself standing barefoot on the soil. Recognize that the earth, the soil, is the dust of your ancestors, of all the plants and creatures who came before you. And put out the question, what do they want you to know? What is your place in this world? how are we all connected to the earth as one? And imagine yourself now lifting your arms up to the skies in gratitude. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and find the slips of paper in your pews and very clearly and legibly write down a hope, a wish, a blessing, an intention, a gratitude, and those that you would like read aloud, you can place in the larger wooden bowl, and those that you would like left unspoken, you can place in the smaller metal bowl. I'm very thankful that Judson Church and today's worship leaders are active in the climate change crisis.
May it be for our beloved planet that this is the darkness just before the dawn.
Thank you for church being nice and fun.
Thank you, Judson, for bringing forth many messages about Mother Earth and Father Sky, and for those Judsonites who deliver the messages.
Pay attention to what is going on. Get with others who care.
Thank you for the lush green forests, the rolling prairies, the majestic mountains and streams, the sandy beaches and oceans. May we protect this beauty forever.
Grateful for a lifetime of camping, canoeing, and hiking in this beautiful natural world.
I'm grateful for my new great-nephew Romeo, who was born this morning.
Help us to truly feel our connection to the whole of creation.
Hope that all 11 duck eggs nesting in our front yard will make it.
May we all work all across the world to preserve our precious blue dot in this vast, amazing universe.
Prayers for Maximilian John Conzer as he begins his one fine life.
Thank you, Mother Earth.
I'm grateful that the earth continues to provide even in distress. No wonder we call her Mother.
Thankful for spring flowers blooming this morning and someone special to help me notice them.
Judson's conclave is done. The chimney smoke is white. Pastor Travis has won. Everything will be all right. You gotta keep that.
Yeah, I'm going to frame that one. I don't know why, but yeah. A few things to keep in prayer. I just want to say, the oriole is my favorite bird. It's one I love to look at. And, Earth Day, it always arrives on Earth Day, usually at Diamond Lake. This year I didn't see it. And so I was working on my bike yesterday in the garage, and what found me? Yeah, an oriole found me. Yeah, it came right above me and just started singing and was like, I'm here, I'm here. So let's take joy in little things. We want to pray for Linda and Mike, especially. We want to pray for Jean and Kristen. We want to remember Adele and Jeff. Adele is in hospice care right now, so we pray for the family. We want to remember Willie and Carla and the family. Willie's brother Jim died this week, so if we can remember the family. And let's continue to pray for Daniel and Madeline and baby Max and family and all the things in our lives. Next Sunday, we will honor our high school graduates. So I just ask that you're here and in this participatory service and be in prayer for them as they enter this world. I think about this week the loss of Pope Francis. I've been mourning it all week, and I'm sure you have too. I mean, he had no power over me, obviously, right, or any of us. But he did have moral persuasion, and there were many things I wish he would have done that he didn't go far enough for. But there's still, what other world leader was putting poor people front and center? and there isn't any. And I'm really afraid that the Catholic Church is going to, not go in the same direction. Try to play it safe and not have someone in that same vein. So we have work to do for ourselves. We can't just simply rely on the next Pope Francis. William Barber, who I think is the prophet of our time, said that we should instead, all of us should say, I am Pope Francis. But that's our call right now, is to say that I am Pope Francis, and to put that work front and center. And that's going to be my prayer this morning, is to read this from William Barber as a way of, I invite you to be the next Papa Francesco. Let us pray. To be Pope Francis now is to stand up to a regime not unlike the one he experienced as a young man in Argentina. One that is willing to disappear people and disregard democratic norms. It is to take a stand with people whose lives depend on Medicaid and SNAP, federal housing assistance, and Social Security. It is to proclaim that a better way is possible, and to believe, even in the darkest night, that we are closer to the dawn of a better world than most of us are willing to believe. It is to affirm that the humble way of love that he followed as he followed Christ still has the power to transform our broken world. May it be so. Let's lift these prayers in the bowl. Amen. A couple things on the call to offering, just to give you an update. So it is stewardship season. We made fantastic progress. Thanks everybody for your wonderful generosity. And I said in the email, Eileen had to go out and buy new red magic markers because we filled up the thermometer so much. So that's great. So you look at the new thermometers, we're even beyond what they have right now. So our goal was 80 pledges. We're now at 103. Yeah, it's a worth clapping for. Yes. Our goal is 275. We are now at 261,605. That means we are 95.1% of the pledge goal. So we're almost there. So thank you for that. And I think we're going to get there because Judson notoriously is we're a procrastinating bunch. So we'll get there. For that. So thank you for that part. If you have, I don't have a pledge card to show you up here, but we have plenty in the back, or maybe we got a few. We got a few now because we've been running out. So that's great. And we do want to say think about the dollar pledge if you've never pledged before, or you're new to the community, you're not really sure. We do ask you to take that up. Or any in your household who haven't pledged yet, to do the dollar pledge. We have a grant that we're applying for this week. It's $28,000. We have a really good shot at getting it. We're applying on May 1st, so we're going to into these grant proposals with a lot of momentum. And if you know a little bit about the grant world, at least the church grant world, once you get in the system, then you're more likely to get further grants. So it's like success begets success. And so we're in a good position for that, and I want to thank you for that. All right, that's our stewardship moment. Lastly, the Easter offering. There's still Easter offering envelopes in your thing. In your pews, you'll find them. We had a goal. We've collected 2146 thus far. Our goal is 2,500. So if you'd like to make an Easter offering, you're more than welcome to do so. Yeah, thank you. All right. like to invite you to be seated at this time. Just a couple announcements to remind you of. Today, following the service in the Ann Judson Room, the racial justice team will be giving their fourth and final presentation on reparations. So I invite you to please be for that. Next Sunday, like I said, is our recognition of graduates. So the graduates will be up here in chairs, and I'll be asking questions, and I need an interactive part for you all to be raising your hands and interacting with them, so please be there. It is also Communion Sunday, and we'll be trying our experiment again where you bring your own glass for communion. I cannot get over how many of you brought a shot glass for communion last week, but that's okay, it all works. The new member class will be held on May 5th from 7 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. We've got a great class that is formed, and if you'd like to be a part of that, please let me know. Our only question that we ask is, do you need this church? And if the answer is yes, then let's go forward. And finally, for my announcements, we are looking for a facilities person. We have job descriptions job descriptions in the back. If you're going to be at a hardware store somewhere in the Twin Cities this week or in the next couple weeks, take one and just place it at a hardware store. It would be great for us. It'd be good public exposure for us. Thank you. Austin, it looks like you got one.
Yeah. So this is an announcement from my wife Susan, but she's helping to organize a church cleanup day in 2 weeks from yesterday, so May 10th. We were just meeting, taking stock of various areas around the church and helping to organize things, do a little spring cleaning. There are 3 sign-up sheets in the back, and on page 6 of the bulletin there's also a link where you can read more. But basically, if you just want to help out, you can sign up on one of those tables. If there's a certain area of the church that you have your eye on, you really want to take control of that, you can sign up for it ahead of time. And if you prefer just telling other people what to clean, you can sign up to lead and organize the effort. So, however you want to pitch in, 9 to 3, 2 weeks from yesterday, May 10th, we'll just be doing some cleanup.
I'm about to do a reading from the book that Larry mentioned, What If We Get It Right? This is a very hopeful book, even as our current administration views, the administration's views on life on our planet are so discouraging. But in the last chapter, the author provides what she calls a climate oath. Now, I know oath is kind of a tricky concept in a church like Judson. So maybe disregard that part. We are not suggesting that the whole congregation buys in on every word, so relax about that. Rather, we offer this as a list of things you, as an individual, might choose to do. I found it really helpful to think that I could have something to offer, even if my government wasn't supporting what I think is the most important issue we face. So, as Travis often points out, there's no knowing how much difference one person can make. So as you listen, if you hear lines that resonate with your heart, hold on to those. And so hope grows. Okay, climate oath. The first 4 lines of this, the author suggests that you substitute in things that are important for you, and so we've done that in our environment climate justice team. On the majesty of Minnesota's oaks, rivers, and lakes, on the honor of the Dakota people who called this place home, on the wonders of birdsong, snowfall, and sunshine, I make these devotions to climate solutions for my community and for our magnificent planet. The first is to move from I to we. We will expand our sense of interdependence. We will rein in our sense of individualism. We will ask, what should we do together? Survival is collective. Our fates are intertwined. The second is to do no harm. We will restore and heal, not pollute and deplete. We will regenerate ecosystems and our own resolve. We will live lightly as part of the earth. Accountability, generosity, sweetness. Third, less is more. We will expand our creativity and contract our consumerism. We will conserve and distinguish between needing and wanting. We will live lightly as part of the, oops. We will be gentle with our own imperfections and others. Thank you. There is such a thing as enough. And then finally, possibility exists. This is a world of our making. We can remake it, remix it, restore it, rebalance it. The path of least resistance is part of many paths. I will be part of getting it right. We will be part of getting it right.
For the blessing, before the blessing, I just want to say thanks to the Reverend and Justice team for their work today in providing the service. I want to say thanks to the Uncommon Denominators for their music. And I want to say thanks to Carolyn for the meditation and all those that have been part of this. For the blessing is simply this. Mary Oliver in one of her essays said, I got saved by the beauty of the world. And I hope as you leave this place, you too get saved by the beauty of this world. You'll be invited after this last song to also grab some cake. We have two wonderful birthdays today, Cindy Clegg and Scott Simpsons, that we are celebrating, so get some birthday cake, wish them happy birthday, and get saved by beauty.
I had never heard the term Low Sunday. I was raised Lutheran, or as my dad would say, Lutheran, in southern Minnesota. Then Assemblies of God, and then I took about 30 years off and came here. And then Travis, he asked us to play, I don't know, what, 12 years ago? On Low Sunday, and that's the first time I heard it. And then after Travis said that, I wrote this song because it sounded catchy. So that's what that is.
It's a shame I know you. Hindsight, should have known better. Couldn't let you show through like I should have been when I met you.
That's right.